Okay, the best way to describe the EPCR this weekend was simply fuck about and find out. If you send rotated teams away, you are going to get your ass kicked, and that is what happened in more than half of the games this weekend. But rugby for me is like pizza. Whether it's cold pizza, hot pizza, whether it's thin base, thick crust, I'm going to eat it and I'm going to watch all of the rugby. So my name is Sinead and welcome to round 2 of the EPCR review from All Things Rugby. Let's start on Friday night where Leinster travelled over to Leicester after a convincing win against Harlequins last week. Leinster took a very strong team over, but it was Leicester that got the crowd absolutely going wild early on with 2 fantastic scores from Radwan and Ollie Haskell-Collins. But Leinster proved why they've got so many stars on their chest, unfortunately for most, as you can see. But look, they came back really strong, great finish from Jameson Gibson Park to get them back in the game. And then they just showed their dominance. And look, when a team doesn't play well and can still win, there's a lot to be said about that. So fair play Leinster, 2 from 2. On Saturday, we had a few closer affairs with the Stormers taking on La Rochelle in South Africa. And look, this was the first one where La Rochelle sent a bunch of kids over, hardly any first team starters. And fair play, they put up a really good display. But the Stormers are one of the best teams of the year so far, and they are going high flying in the URC, and they're now 2 from 2 in the EPCR Champions Cup as well. So Stormers, very convincing win. Unfortunate for La Rochelle. The other side of South Africa, Saracens travelled over to play Sharks. And again, they rotated a few. There was no Toji, there was no Farrell, there was no Jamie George. But they put up a decent fight. They took the lead early on, but it was the Sharks that came out on top, giving 2 from 2 for South Africa on Saturday. Bordeaux carried on their awesome performance in the Champions Cup, showing that they are here to defend their title. And they are taking this competition very seriously, unlike some others. And they had a very convincing win over the Scarlets with Jalabert putting on another amazing performance. Get this guy in the French 10 shirt. And speaking of the French 10 shirt, Toulouse were absolutely flying on a cold, wet, rainy Glasgow pitch, taking a massive lead. Dupont was back, he was scoring. And Glasgow absolutely got a talking to at half-time to come back and win, which is probably not only the game of the round, but one of Glasgow's best ever wins in European competition. Couple of quick mentions in the Challenge Cup on Saturday. Big shout out to Newcastle getting their second win of the competition and their second win of the year against Lions. I don't know what the ref was thinking for that yellow card. Wade got basically a punch to the face and got knocked out and got taken off the pitch. Yellow card, no review. I don't know how that happened. And then in Wales, Cardiff put in probably the upset of the round with a last-minute penalty to beat Ulster, who have been flying high all season. So well done to the blue and black from Wales. Sunday was a bit of a funny one in Champions Cup with realistically only one noticeable game for a rugby fan and neutral, with Toulon taking on Bath. Now, Bath started really well and it looked like they were fronting up. Finn Russell was pulling absolute strings as always. But Toulon's pack just monstered them. And it's not often we've said that about Bath, but Toulon were mauling so well. Carl Sinclair has got a complete new lease of life. He looked absolutely fantastic. And it was the Giants, Toulon, that came out victorious over last year's treble winners, Bath. Other than that, it was pretty one-sided affairs in the rest of the games. Bristol ran absolutely riot over post, scoring for fun from everywhere all match. The mighty Harlequins got a fantastic win against Bayonne, and the Bayonne fans were just drunk and doing the conga around the pitch. And Northampton played against a second-string Bulls, but ended up spanking them, getting 50 points at home. So, look, as a home fan, you love that, but realistically, this is meant to be the top competition in the world. And when we're getting these one-sided games, it's like, what's the point? If I don't mention it, I'll probably get fired from our CEO. So fair play to Dragons getting their first win of the season with a last-minute conversion to win. So well done to the Drags. So look, it's a bit of a funny one. We've had 2 weeks. We've had some absolutely cracking games and we've had some one-sided affairs. We're going to do a video later on about how we would do the EPCR. So look out for that at the start of next year. But that's 2 rounds of the European Cup tied up for this side of the year. We go back to domestic next week with the Prem and the URC. So keep an eye out for all socials as we preview this week's games. Once again, thank you for watching. My name is Sinead and this has been All Things Rugby.